We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs,
by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made.
And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too.
That, of course, is JD Vance, aka Johnny Donuts, who's a lot of things, but most importantly, the biggest gift to the Democrats since, well, there have been a lot of gifts.
No, it isn't truth. Truth isn't truth. The President of the United States says...
Alternative facts.
To make me look like a crazy person.
Indictable. Don't come knocking on my door with your Fauci outie.
Sex charges against me.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter.
And the list goes on. But choosing Vance to be your vice president, well, that's not working out. There's a huge gender gap, and women are flocking to Harris on almost double the numbers they did to Biden. And thanks to Johnny Donuts, the numbers are going up.
Couple of interesting things here that go into this advantage for Harris in our poll. Number one is a gender gap, a massive gender gap.
Vance has attacked women in almost every way you can. First, there was the cat ladies.
Childless cat ladies.
Then he attacked teachers.
This is another one of JD Vance's childless jibes, which is coming back to haunt him. In audio that has resurfaced from 2021, Donald Trump's running mate was ranting about how disoriented and disturbed he feels about leaders of the left without biological kids of their own.
And I think our conservative idea is that parents and families should determine what children learn, what values they are brought up with. You know, so many of the leaders of the left, and I hate to be so personal about this, but they're people without kids trying to brainwash the minds of our children. And Randy Weingarten, who's the head of the most powerful teachers union in the country, she doesn't have a single child.
Then he attacked higher education.
The professors are the enemy. So much of what we want to do in this movement in this country, I think, are fundamentally dependent on going through a set of very hostile institutions, specifically the universities, which control the knowledge in our society, which control what we call truth and what we call falsity, that provides research that gives credibility to some of the most ridiculous ideas that exist in our country. Because I think if any of us want to do the things that we want to do for our country and for the people who live in it, we have to honestly and aggressively attack the universities in this country.
And then, of course, the Haitians in Ohio with this bullshit, which he's repeated many times.
Just once and for all, you again started this in part by saying that, at which Donald Trump repeated on the debate stage,
they're eating the dog.
That, and he didn't say anything about the policies that you're talking about. He just said Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is a rumor that has no basis with evidence?
Well, first of all, city officials have not said it's not true. They've said they don't have all the evidence.
They said they have no evidence.
We've heard from a number of constituents on the ground, Caitlin, who both firsthand and secondhand reports saying this stuff is happening.
What in the hell is this?
ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
And then finally, he admitted it was all a lie.
If I have to create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana.
And the hits just keep on coming. Now Vance will attend a town hall in Pennsylvania hosted by a Christian nationalist MAGA prophet who claims Kamala Harris was using witchcraft to emasculate tiny fingers at the debate. Okay, it's funny, but it's frightening as well. This freak is a figure in a fringe nationalist movement which advocates for a Christian takeover of education, military, family, and government. Since then, he's reportedly issued prophecies claiming those who oppose Trump would die suddenly, and he pushed conspiracy theories relating to the attack on Paul Pelosi. Most recently, this whack job is focused on Harris, accusing her of using witchcraft to emasculate Trump during the debate, and now claims Harris is possessed by occult spirits and is the devil's choice. And Vance will be there to speak. Listen to this.
And what you're seeing now is a real Jezebel. You're going to see a lot of people saying that. It doesn't, it's like Pentecostal 101 when you've got somebody operating in manipulation, intimidation, and domination, especially when it's in a female role, trying to emasculate a man who is standing up for truth. You're dealing with the Jezebel spirit. What was accomplished was she can look presidential, and we'll go to this later. That's the seduction of what I would say is witchcraft. That's the manipulation of imagery that creates an impression contrary to the truth, but it seduces you into seeing it. So that spirit, that occult spirit, I believe is operating on her and through her, similar to with Obama. that there's a kind of an angel of light, charisma. You can see it at the DNC. And so when you're up against that, the good news is if we're going to go full tilt Pentecostal, Jezebel may be the spirit you're up against, but then Trump has like an Elijah mantle on him, probably from the intercession of a million Christians. We've got to lean into this thing because the Elijah mantle can break the spell of witchcraft off America. God can tear the veil, and unless that veil is torn, we have a lot working against us.
Look, Vance knows Trump is full of shit, right? You remember.
I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place.
And of course, Vance said he was all in on January the 6th. And had he been vice president, he would have stopped the counting of the votes in an election that had already been certified by 60 court rulings. And you know, the vote of the people.
Let me ask you about January 6th. You've been mentioned as the possible vice president for Donald Trump. Had you been vice president on January 6th, would you have certified the election results?
Oh, George, this is such a ridiculous question, in part because the law has changed here. We, of course, had
I didn't ask you about going forward. I asked you what you would have done. I asked you what you would have done.
George, here's what I think. Do I think there were problems in 2020? Yes, I do. Do I think it was a problem?
Yeah, but you didn't answer the question I asked. Would you have certified the election results had you been vice president?
If I had been vice president, I would have told the states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and so many others that we needed to have multiple slates of electors, and I think the U.S. Congress should have fought over it from there. That is the legitimate way to deal with an election that a lot of folks, including me, think had a lot of problems in 2020. I think that's what we should have done.
So it's very clear. You would have done what Donald Trump asked you to do there, not what Vice President Mike Pence did.
And that's a big part of what's wrong with this guy. He has no spine, zero integrity. And like Teddy Cruz, when a right-wing white supremacist attacked his Indian wife, he didn't do squat.
JD Vance also has a non-white wife, an Indian wife, and a kid named Vivek. All his kids have Indian names. So it's like, what exactly are we getting here? And that's not a dig at him just because I'm a racist or something. But it's like, who is this guy really? Do we really expect that the guy who has an Indian wife and named their kid Vivek is going to support white identity?
Trump is a psychopathic, sociopathic, racist, misogynistic pussy.
Well, but I would have been boom, boom, boom. I'll beat that.
Yeah, right. This rotund dotard can't fart without calling 911. But Vance is worse. He's a hypocrite and a dangerous one. And make no mistake, Vance is like this with the Heritage Foundation and their Project 2025, and he's using Trump to leapfrog into a position of power. But he's weak. At the heart of Johnny Donuts is a little boy.
He's leading our political discourse to a very negative place.
This is just another reason why women hate this guy. He stands for nothing, and that which he says he stands for, he'll turn on in a second.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
If somehow Trump is elected and Everyday Harris is getting stronger, making that a lot less likely, Tiny Fingers is flailing, and he won't make it through 4 more years.
Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow.
So make no mistake, that's what Vance is waiting for. Trump to die so he can rise. And if Johnny Donuts does run for president, I can think of a perfect running mate.
I'm very excited about that.
Goddamn right. I don't want to talk about this stuff.
It's not fair.
I'm ready. Let's go.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Who's with me?
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.